We are back. We are back. We are back. What is up, world? Man, I hope y'all having a good one out there. Yes, sir. We're gonna be on a heavy topic today. We're gonna start waiting on some peeps to start tapping in, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump into this, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get on over here to YouTube, make sure we good, get everything right. We'll jump into this subject, man. For real. Y'all ready for this cashless system, man? Y'all ready for this new global government that we got coming in, this Black Mirror society? Are y'all ready for it? Cause I'm telling y'all, it's right around the corner for us here in the United States, bro. It's coming. And y'all think I'm joking about this shit? I'm telling y'all, it's coming down the pipe. We're in for a crazy world here in the United States by 2035. The next 10 years is gonna be insane. All right. Y'all need to fucking wake the fuck up and see what's going on. I'm not talking about this woke shit where they've motherfucking hijacked the word being woke. All right. When I learned of and I was woken to the bullshit of society, that was being woken to the lies. Okay. Being woken to all the false doctrines that you've been bestowed upon in your life, being taken away from cognitive dissonance and seeing the truth of things. All right. And not allowing someone else out here to brainwash you with their fucking bullshit. That was when you became awoke. You were awakened to the goddamn lies. This whole thing when they got woke, they done hijacked that fucking word. All right. And I don't like it. Well, let's move on, y'all. All right. Hope everybody's having a good one out there. Let's go ahead and jump into this. Okay. So, mind the way he talks, okay? I know it's kind of hard to get past the way Robert F. Kennedy talks, guys. I know it's a hard thing that I have, okay? But I want y'all to listen to his message because if you've been with me on this channel, you've heard me say this over and over and over and over again what he's getting ready to say, okay? He just said this the other day. And if you've been rocking with Lee here for the past 2 years, you've heard me say what he's getting ready to say right fucking now. Okay, you got to get past the way Robert F. Kennedy speaks, man, because he feels like he's struggling to talk. I don't know if there's something going on down here, but he feels like he's struggling to talk. But just get past that and just listen to this message, okay? We're gonna go on with it. Much love, everybody.
Today is what I call turnkey totalitarianism. They are putting in place all of these technological mechanisms for control we've never seen before. It's been the ambition of every totalitarian state from the beginning of mankind to control every aspect of behavior, of conduct, of thought, and to obliterate dissent.
Okay, now let's pause on that because I want to elaborate on what he's talking about. Okay, all right, y'all have heard me say many times before. All right, when we say they, we're talking about powers that be, okay, that are and have been ruling both sides since the Napoleon Wars, okay? They funded both sides of the war, okay? That's they, okay? The elite, the ones that are really ruling shit. They're the ones that are actually controlling everything. And the presidents and all these prime ministers that you have, they're nothing more than puppets for the elite. That's why we say they. Okay, so they were trying to take control back in Hitler's day, and Hitler was their pawn. Okay, Hitler was their pawn to bring in world domination. But they learned through what they had with Hitler that you just can't come in and take motherfuckers' rights away because people are going to get upset. People are going to go crazy. You're going to have chaos, and it's just not going to be good for you and your mission and your agenda. You want the people to come along willingly. So what did they do? They switched their formula. They switched their agenda to creating a scenario to where we want to give our rights over to them through through security. We're giving away our privacy. You understand that? So in sense, they created a problem so that we don't have to have them take our shit away. We're willingly giving it to them. Y'all understand? And they learned back when Hitler was around, you just can't do that. With these other dictators, you just can't go in like that. You just can't go take people's shit. You gotta let the motherfuckers give it to you. Okay? Now, let's move on. Okay? It's already been tried. They've tried it so many times before. But here's the difference between back then and today. Technology. Technology is the big difference between everything today, you guys, and back then when they were trying to instill control. Okay, I know I sound crazy on all this, but my people out there who don't suffer from cognitive dissonance, you understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So let's get into this. Let's listen what this brother has to say. All right, let's move on.
None of them have been able to do it. They didn't have the technological capacity. Today, the mechanisms are being put in place that will make it so none of us can run and none of us can hide.
Right?
Within 5 years, we're going to see 415,000
Listen.
low-orbit satellites. Bill Gates says his 65,000 satellites alone will be able to look at every square inch of the planet 24 hours a day.
What the fuck did he just say?
Currency that will allow them to.
What did he just say? What? I just got goosebumps from that because I'm actually getting to see this with you guys. What has Lee been preaching about on this channel for so fucking long, you guys? What have I been saying to y'all? That the world's gonna happen in the future where we're gonna have this type of society where if you're trying to get away from the government, nigga, you ain't gonna better go in the woods and hide. They're gonna be they're gonna have satellites fucking tracking us, bro. Heat sensors. You ain't gonna be able to go anywhere. And when they come to this cashless society, where if you don't join this new society that we're getting ready to fucking have, and you try to go into the woods and you try to get away from it, they're gonna fucking find us. They're gonna find you, bro. There's no getting away from it. With all the satellites that's gonna be up there, there's no getting away from these motherfuckers, dude. Do y'all fucking understand this shit? Are y'all fucking seeing this shit? How can y'all not fucking see this goddamn shit, bro? Y'all need to wake the fuck up.
Punish us from a distance and cut off our food supply. Every right that you have,
y'all need to wake up,
is
dude.
Transformed into a privilege contingent upon your obedience to arbitrary government dictates.
Y'all need to listen to this dude. I know y'all don't agree with everything he says about vaccines, but fuck, bro.
It will make you a slave.
That's real fucking talk, dude. Let's keep this going. I know a lot of people don't agree with everything J.F. Kennedy says about motherfucking vaccines. Listen, I understand that shit. I can understand people's mentality on that, bro. But when he speaks on other things, bro, he's sounding just like his fucking dad. He sounds just like his fucking dad, bro, when he's saying this shit. Because John F. Kennedy was on the same shit, bro. They murked his ass. And y'all know that fucking shit. He was exposing these motherfuckers back then. They murked John F. Kennedy, bro. And y'all know that.
What do we do about this? What do we do? We resist. I'm going to tell you 3 rules you all need to know and memorize. Number 1, every power that government takes from us, it will never relinquish voluntarily. Number 2, every power they take from us, they will ultimately abuse to the maximum extent possible.
Exactly. Are y'all hearing this?
Number 3, nobody in history of the planet has ever complied their way out of totalitarian control. Every capitulation.
And you want to know how I know that? Happened to our people, dude. Native Americans. What did the government do? They said, hey, we're either going to wipe you motherfuckers out, or you're going to have to go to these little plots of land that we've given you called reservations today. All right. So instead of our people being wiped the fuck out, all right, what do? Our chiefs was like, hey, man, let's just go. Let's just go and do what the guys up in the White House are saying, because they're going to kill us all, man. They done wiped out the buffalo. They done poisoned the fuck out of us. They're killing us. They got these thunder sticks. They got all these bigger weapons, bro. We can't compete against them. They're fucking us up. So we got to go with it. So that's what we did. All right. And they said they were going to hold treaties for our people. Okay. They say they're going to give us food. All these different things they say they're going to hold to. Our government, the United States government, said they were going to hold all these treaties. How many treaties did the United States government hold for our people? Not a goddamn one. Motherfuckers broke every fucking treaty. Didn't hold to not one. And then the food that they did send our people, it had maggots in it. It had motherfucking all kinds of motherfucking shit in it. Give motherfuckers diarrhea. Give motherfuckers all kinds of diseases and shit for the food and stuff they were sending our people on the tribe, on the reservations. Like, fuck out of here, bro. No. And he's talking about the same fucking thing. It happened to our people. That's what he's basically saying, the same shit. It's like, that's basically what he's fucking saying, bro. It happened to our people.
Is a signal to the oppressors to impose new forms of torment or torture or compliance or obedience.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you comply, you get weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Bullies cannot be appeased. It just encourages them to new forms of torture and torment.
Oh, bro, yes, like
Every
for
time
real. Still City, you're speaking facts because, bro, do you remember? And this like it's taking it back to COVID again. Once again, this is taking it back to COVID. All right, how many of y'all remember during COVID when we were going up to get something to eat or whatnot? Um, we saw the sign right there at the drive-through window saying they don't have any coins, that we need to use our credit cards and shit, or that they're out of cash and that we need to use our credit cards. That was a test run on us, dude. Y'all know that the whole COVID, listen, y'all need to understand that whole COVID shit where they locked us down. They basically motherfucking took our goddamn rights. Okay, let's be real. They locked us the fuck down. They basically took our fucking rights. They pitted us against one another. Families were snitching on one another. All right. Motherfuckers were losing their jobs. Okay. And all of this, in the midst of it, they fucking try to tell us that we are cashless, that we need to use digital currency. Those were two motherfucking things right there that just motherfucking hit a light in my head at that time. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is really going on? What are they doing to us? Because nigga, I know we got money out here. Why they trying to motherfucking say that we need to go to cashless right now during COVID? That didn't make no fucking sense to me. You know, it was all planned, bro. They were testing this. It was a trial run, guys. Y'all got to understand this, bro. I know y'all think I'm talking crazy out the side of my neck, all right? But the things I've been saying on my channel, this brother right here just confirmed it. And we're going to keep going on with this video because as y'all can see, it's got a lot more to go. And we're going to show y'all what's going on and what's coming to America. I want y'all to see what is coming to America, bro. And when it happens, y'all gonna look back on this shit and be like, God damn, bro, Leave was spitting game back then, bro. Whether I'm here or not. If I'm dead, if I'm on YouTube, y'all gonna always remember that Lee was spitting fucking game, bro. If y'all don't ever see me again in the future, you're gonna always remember that Lee was spitting game to y'all, man. All right. Let's keep this going.
you say yes, you're getting pushed back to a weaker position. That's why we need to resist today.
A good score brings benefits,
Let's
but
skip this
people with
commercial,
low
dog.
scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned.
Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to zero. On
Hey,
it
y'all,
are
hold up.
companies,
Y'all seeing
but
this?
also 20
All right, so here's what China's doing over there, guys. How many of y'all have seen the show Black Mirror? How many of y'all seen the show Black Mirror, guys? On Netflix, where you have a rating, you have a rating, right? That's what you get. You get a rating, okay? And if so many people say that their interactions with you are shitty on those ratings, then you show up in a database and through those ratings, you're not allowed to go to certain schools. Your kids can't go to certain schools. You can't drive certain places. You can't ride certain places. You can't fly. You can't shop. You can't do any fucking thing because your score is fucked up. Your social score. Okay. Well, this is what's going on in fucking China right now. All right. If you speak against the government in China, they'll fuck up your social score and you can't even get on the train. So let's say you're a journalist and you're speaking against the totalitarian government, the bullshit that's going on in China. Okay. And you're a journalist and that's what you do. Or let's say you're a social media person over there in China. You have a YouTube channel, whatnot. All right. Or some kind of whatever their social media platform is over there. All right. And you're talking against the government like we're doing right now. All right. They find out, bam, you're going on this motherfucking blacklist right here, and you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. You can't buy, sell, trade, or do nothing, bro. You can't even go to goddamn school, my dude. You can't send your kids to school. You can't do shit. That's what they're doing in China right now. And that shit's coming to America, man. Y'all better mark my motherfucking words, because let me tell you something. All right. Everything starts over there. They're getting into the mind frame of society in other places before they implement it in the United States. All right. Listen, they can't just bring shit and throw it on us here in the US. A lot of Americans ain't gonna take that shit. So how do you do it? You gotta milk them. All right. You gotta gradually appease the people with it by letting them see it in other places. okay, and letting it happen in other places. And that's what they do. Okay, and this is one of those scenarios where they're allowing it to take place in another country, but it's coming over here. It's a test ground over there. That's essentially what's going on. China's a test run for this whole fucking global new world order cashless totalitarian system, bro. This is a test run, and it's coming over here, guys. I'm telling y'all, let's run this, dude.
3 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. He only realized when he tried to buy a train ticket and was told he was banned from traveling.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
What
Punished because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Are y'all hearing that?
Once you're blacklisted,
Listen, he said he was deemed untrustworthy by the government. How much are we hearing this right now in rhetoric in our country right now? Huh? With all the things that are going on in the United States right now, you guys, I'm telling you, they're going to use all of these events that are happening. There's going to be a big event that's going to happen in the future. And they're going to use that as an umbrella to bring this type of society in, to combat crime, to combat all these different things. That's going to be their fucking their list. They're going to have a list of all these things that this is going to help combat here in the United States to make us a greater country. That's how they're going to feed it to us, bro. They're going to be spoon feeding us some motherfucking bullshit. But all the while, they set this fucking shit up way back then for us to give our rights over so they can have total control. I know that it's crazy talk, y'all. And I know you're like, go put your motherfucking tinfoil hat on, Lee. But come on, guys. Like, I don't understand how people cannot see this shit, man. Like, for real, you guys need to wake the fuck up, because we're heading into a crazy fucking society, man. Do y'all not think that shit's gonna come to the US? Look at where we're already at right now. Look at the fucking shit that they're already trying to push here in the US, bro.
you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
Fuck no, man.
Yu Hu is among a tiny minority of people who have
What's up,
dared to
Brittany?
criticize the system, which some are calling a digital dictatorship.
I worry because I think many people like me will be deprived of individual freedoms.
So look, Paul Richards reckons, I've got my knickers in a twist, 2.3 million people signing a petition saying no to digital ID cards, this brick card app
Yep.
on your phone. We've
All
all
of
just
Y'all need to understand this is coming. Y'all know that, right, guys? Y'all know that. Everybody on my channel, please understand this. Smash the like button if you feel what I'm saying. This digital currency, this digital ID, this digital society where they can consistently track you. And essentially, if you're not doing something right that the government wants you to do, if you go against them, if you speak against them, if you're a protester, if you're an activist, any of those, if they deem you as a person who is unfit, then through that control of your digital life, because that's what it's going to be, everything, your ID, your currency, everything's going to be digital, then what's to stop them from shutting you down to where you can't participate in society? Tell me that. Tell me that, please. Please fucking tell me. Huh? What's to fucking stop them from doing that?
just being a bit silly, and there's nothing to worry about. It's going to be really convenient for us to have all our ID in one place. Yep. There's no risk to it, and miraculously, although no one's been able to explain why, it's going to deal with the issue of illegal migrants working.
Yeah.
What do you make of those claims?
Absolutely ridiculous and absurd. There's no way that this digital ID card system is going to stop small boats arriving. There's no way it's going to prevent the Human Rights Act being used to deport criminals, terrorists.
No, but those people won't be able to get a job, we're told, and therefore they won't come here and work illegally because miraculously these employers are who have not been...
Okay, if that's the case, then listen, if that's the case, all right, it already happens right now. How many people hire illegal immigrants already, bro? All right, and they don't have an ID. Like, they just paying them under the table. Okay, whatever. You don't need an ID. I'm paying you under the table type shit. So to say that people still won't come over here to work illegally, that's a lie, bro. But if you have that ID and you have people digitally set into a system where they're consistently watched, then if you don't have that digital ID and you're not connected to this new digital age that we're going into, then you are ostracized and you won't be able to buy, sell, trade, or eat or do anything in the United States without that digital ID. So if illegals do come here to work illegally and get paid under the table, they still won't be able to go out and buy stuff or sell or go to anywhere or send their kids to school or go shopping or anything. Everything would have to be done underground on the black market, because they'll be ostracized from society because they don't carry the mark, that digital mark, the mark of the beast. They don't carry that digital mark to allow them to buy, sell, trade, and be a part of society. So they'd have to go to the underground, to the black market society to buy stuff. Y'all think I'm crazy on this, man? I'm telling y'all.
Checking their right to work will suddenly start check their right to work.
Yeah, we already have national insurance numbers which denote your right to work, and if you're an employer, you're not bothering to ask for one of those at the moment. Why should you suddenly start asking for a digital ID? It's completely absurd.
It's bewildering.
Pick up on one thing, an incredible arrogant thing that Paul Richard said there. He said, we've all got smartphones. Yeah. I just looked up the statistics for this. Between the ages of 25 and 55-year-olds, about 99% of people have smartphones. Over 65s, it drops to 82%. And then when you go the over 75s, it drops to 72%.
Yep.
There's very good reason for that. It's because if you've got arthritis, if you've got poor eyesight and so on, a smartphone is a very difficult
absolutely.
piece of
and again, it's stuff that we kind of almost, I didn't grow up with one, but like youngsters growing up with them, and I certainly had them since my 30s, and therefore it's very, you're used to having a mobile phone. A lot of these people don't even have a brick phone. But the crucial thing here is the idea that, okay, let's just say we all had iPhones or equivalent Samsungs or whatever, and just say everything. And what's the issue? Why should anyone be concerned about the government having all of your information on an app in one place?
Control, bro. That's why. That's the main reason.
Well, it creates one thing. It creates a one-stop shop for fraudsters. At the moment, someone steals your identity. There is a bit of footwork involved in that. They've got to sort of collect information from different places. If we've got a digital ID database, they've only got to get into your system once. So, get into your phone. They've got your identity. And we've seen, from Jaguar to Marks and Spencers and so on, the way that hackers are getting into these systems, which are notionally secure, it's not just sort of ignorant people who have been falling victim to
their password is password. Even the banks. Virtually every big bank, big cyber companies. People are getting hacked on a grand scale. We've seen the government routinely. Just leaving information out. And that's the thing. At that point, someone's got access to your health records. You may have had an operation that you perhaps don't want your other half to know, or something. Your ability, your income. They've got access to every single part of your life.
And don't believe the government if they say they won't sell off this data to commercial interest, because look what happens with the electoral roll. Look what happens with the DVLA database, where the government just flogs off your information to these cowboy parking companies so they can issue their tickets and so on. We've had these databases. We sort of consent to these databases, and then the government doesn't stick to its side of the deal.
What about the surveillance side of things? The concern that a lot of people have, and I share it, people have been paying attention to what happened during COVID, paying attention to what's been happening in China, the social credit system. So people say, don't be so silly, it couldn't happen here. it literally happened here in 2020 and 2021. I don't know why people are surprised that it couldn't happen again.
Exactly.
And this is the ability of the government to say,
exactly what she just said, yo. I don't understand how people don't think this type of shit is not gonna happen. All right, look, let me tell y'all something, okay? If we are able to sit here and vocalize this shit, us, on this channel, people like this, they're not the only ones. If we can see this, not suffering from cognitive dissonance, and be able to think, all right, and say, okay, where we're at right now, this is where we got to be heading because there's nowhere else that we can't go. Okay. Now, knowing that we're thinking these things and saying these things and vocalizing them online and on news, okay, do you not think that there's organizations, think tanks out here who have already thought this shit up long a fucking go? Like, for real. You gotta think about that, man. Motherfuckers do not realize that we have think tanks out here. We have organizations. We have societies that have meetings, my bro, to dictate what should fucking happen in this world. And people are like, oh God, you're crazy for saying that. Go put your tin hat on. No, you need to do your research, bro. That's what you need to do. Like, for real, you need to do your research and see what the fuck is really going on.
We can track what you buy, we can track when you've had a vaccine, we can track all your data in one place. And basically, you know, if you haven't got up to date on your jabs, you can't buy things, you can't travel, you can't do that central data makes that possible, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and you can just imagine a future pandemic where we have a lockdown, and we'll all be tracked by our phones. You know, pop down the shop and spend 5 minutes too long outside your house, then you'll be sprung with a fine. You know,
and people think that's a joke. It literally happened.
It did.
Yeah, exactly.
That literally happened.
Possibilities.
Y'all don't remember that? That literally happened. Do y'all remember that, Allison? That literally happened. They were tracking people, bro. And if you stayed outside a fucking place too long, you got a motherfucking ticket, bro, during COVID. Like, they were literally tracking motherfuckers, y'all. Like, if they were, that's what I'm sitting here and trying to tell y'all. Everything that happened during COVID was a trial run, fam. Across the whole board. Everything that happened to y'all in Europe, everything that happened to y'all over there in Australia, what your government did to you, all right? All you conspiracy theorists over there in Europe and in Australia, all right, who was on some shit like, yo, man, this is fucking crazy as fuck. What's really going on here? And then you went down the rabbit hole. Fucking right the whole time, bro. Like, for real, for real. It was all a plan. It was all part of the agenda, and it was a motherfucking test run, homie. A little trial run, bro.
For this, and this morning there's a story about, you know, the new nationalised rail company wants to use tracking our phones to charge us, you know, as an alternative to buying a ticket. We'd just be tracked on our phones. Well, you know, you've then got a system where you're tracking people around the country all the time. And
well, what about the argument? If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear, Ross.
That's a fucking bullshit.
Even if you've got nothing to hide, you
my
run
rights,
up
bro.
to the problem of dealing with this bloody technology. On Friday night, I tried to renew my driving license card. You know, these photo cards. It's always been fairly easy in the past, but now we've got to download some app to prove your identity.
Oh yeah, I had to do that the other day.
Circles of hell.
Yeah, and again, if it all doesn't work.
See, my whole thing on that, when people actually say that, yo, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you got to worry about with this new system that's coming in and all that, man, where you're being tracked and all that, and blase, blase, blase. Because, bro, those are my rights. Written in the Bill of Rights and the amendments here in the United States. Okay? I have the right to privacy and security within. Okay? So when you have that information out there, you're delving into my private life even more. And the government should not be doing that. The government has no right to be prying into citizens' lives like that and having control over citizens' lives with a digital ID. That's draconian, and that's not what the even though, you know, the way this country was started is fucked up. Now I'll continue to say that, being Native American, it was fucked up the way it was started. But regardless, bro, we have rights here in the United States, and I love this land, fam, and I love the Bill of Rights, and I love the amendments, fam. And fuck if someone's gonna goddamn be stepping on my shit. Fuck that, bro. That's what no, man, no, like, bro, hell no. So yeah, I can't stand it when people say, "Oh, as long as you're not doing anything wrong, why should you care if they got cameras everywhere? Why should you care if they're all on your shit, listening to you and bugging your house and stuff, and the government listening and turning on your cameras and all that shit? Why should you give a fuck, man? They're just trying to protect the government, protect the country, and make sure everybody's good. That's what the government's trying to do, man. So you shouldn't care as long as you're a good citizen, you're a patriot of the United States of America. You shouldn't care that the government's looking in your home. You should be a good citizen and just let them look in there because you're not doing anything wrong anyway. America. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Are you really that dumb? Like, for real, for real. God almighty.
How does it, you won't be able to access things in your life. This thing about the card, you can lose it, but you can get it replaced. I think the key thing is just the fact that it's going to be something that is going to be updating constantly. We're going to be talking more about that.
You know what I mean, bro? It's freaking crazy, man. All right, let's get back over here right quick. Much love, everybody. Much love, much love, much love, much love, much love. Let me see. What am I trying to find right quick? There's something I want to find. All right, here we go. Same thing right here, y'all. I want y'all to see this because this is a reoccurring thing, man.
Birds singing. So massive news broke recently confirming something that lots of us already know. Censorship is real, and it's even worse in our community when it comes to the good herb. But amid the recent Jimmy Kimmel suspension, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Meta have all admitted to censoring Americans' free speech, terminating accounts, and wiping people off of their platform, all at the request of the government, specifically the Democrats and the Biden administration. And these have ranged from political views to medical opinions and, of course, herb-related content.
Free speech is returning after some serious Biden-era censorship. Google is bringing back YouTube accounts banned for political speech and so-called misinformation. It's the latest tech giant to admit that the Biden administration was pressuring that company to remove certain content and other companies. Google sent a letter to House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan stating that White House officials, including Biden himself, created a political atmosphere in order to dictate how it moderated content. That sounds like a command and control situation over there at Google. Was it? Here's constitutional attorney Jonathan Turley.
There was extensive censorship, not just on COVID issues, but other issues. Even jokes were being censored at the demand of the Biden administration officials. And this is part of censorship. It creates an insatiable desire, an appetite. And these companies found themselves overwhelmed. It snowballed.
The Wall Street editorial board with a headline, "When the Left Censored Speech," full stop. Yeah, exactly.
Right, Brittany?
Here's part of the article.
Facts.
The outrage flowed righteously on the left when the Trump administration pressured private companies to suspend anti-Trump television host Jimmy Kimmel. The Biden arm twisting was more insidious because it stayed out of public view. Perhaps the White House had a guilty conscience, though more likely it didn't want voters to know. Wasn't that interesting?
So this is something that a lot of people who operate in the can industry are familiar with. Censorship, Instagram accounts being deleted, pages being taken down. You wake up one morning and all of a sudden your account's gone and you're disappeared from cyberspace. Now we all know how frustrating it can be when you wake up, like I said, and your Instagram page is gone. All the hard work and all the time, effort, the memories, the content, the photos, the videos, everything is just gone. It's wiped. And this is really big news because a lot of people know and have a feeling, a strong suspicion that Instagram, Meta, all these platforms have been censoring their speech. And like I said, it's not just political speech or medical speech, but also a lot of things that have to do with the good herb.
Okay, TikTok, listen up. If we're not going to let medicine being shown,
all about control,
cannabis,
guys.
Smoke, nothing else. No paraphernalia, nothing else. But we're going to let a crack pipe be shown, a cigar be shown, and bottles of alcohol? What the f*** is wrong with you?
And that's something we see right here on YouTube, Instagram. We see it all the time. Tons of things that are literally super harmful, actually harmful. But if I post a plant that just naturally grows like that, you're going to be in trouble with YouTube. Now, the thing is, the double standards are crazy. If you compare the good herb to things like alcohol, those alcohol ads are shown all the time without censorship. And this is not limited only to YouTube, because according to this article, Snapchat AI also blocks answers while providing info on alcohol and Delta-8. And according to this article, and I quote, when asked about the good herb or THC, the AI feature blocked the responses and included
Let me pause this right quick because I want y'all to understand why I am showing y'all this after we just talked about going into a cashless system, new world order control and all of that. Okay? Because when you speak about these things out here in society, you know, especially in this new system that we're going to be heading into, censorship is going to be even more heavy on us. Okay. So this is just something that's coming down the line, peeps. All right. A lot of people are on this right now, including this brother, knowing that something fishy is going on. I don't think he's got his hands on it yet right now, you know, because maybe he didn't come from like a background where he grew up in church. But, you know, me coming from a background growing up in church and seeing stuff, bro, and talking about the Antichrist and New World Order, whatever you want to call it, bro, like, and having complete control and that whole topic, that whole rabbit hole, yeah, he I think he's gonna catch on because this is gonna lead him somewhere. He's gonna go start going down another rabbit hole, bro. But it's all about, once again, control, bro, controlling us, control, man. You got to control the people. You got to, and that's what they're trying to do.
Note, sorry, I can't help with that. If you're looking for something else, feel free to ask. Drug use can seriously damage your health and have legal consequences. I got some helpful resources handy for you to check out. So when you guys think we're just fighting against lawmakers, politicians, some of those old school reefer madness baby boomers, that's not the case. We're also fighting against big tech, the platform giants that are literally trying to censor anything that has to do with the good herb, or if they just don't agree with your point of view, your perspective, or your political opinion, which is absolutely mind-blowing and a violation of free speech.
House Republicans putting in writing what they've asserted all along, that the Biden White House used its position and its power to launch a campaign of censorship, coercing companies like Facebook, which is owned by Meta, and Twitter, as it was then called, Google, and Amazon, to remove or restrict content.
Amazon too, bro.
Posted online.
It was the White House on January 23rd, 2021, saying take down the tweet. And the tweet, there was nothing false in the tweet. And guess who the tweet was from? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The third day of this administration, they're trying to censor their Democrat primary opponent.
So you guys see?
Okay, so you guys see, all right, what we were just talking about. Who did we play at the beginning of the live stream? Robert F. Kennedy. What was Robert F. Kennedy talking about? All right. There's going to be a society in the future, the next 10 years, man. The society we're going to be living in, this world we're going to be living in, guys. Satellites everywhere. Low orbit satellites. Thousands of them. And everything is going to be recorded 24/7. Every inch of our planet is going to be recorded with these satellites 24/7. You're not going to be able to go anywhere. You try to go into the woods, the hide, to get away from the government. Let's say you don't like the way the government's going and everything, so you want to just go off grid. Okay? Just go live in the woods. Just go deep in the woods and just live. All right? Kind of like bushcraft living type shit. All right? You're just going to go off grid and live the bushcraft lifestyle for the rest of your life because you're done. Guess what? You ain't going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to track you with those satellites, thermal, heat, all that. At night, your body, you're through. You can't go anywhere. And they're going to send someone out there to find your ass and get you. And what they do with you then, God only knows, bro. God only fucking knows what's going to happen then, bro.
That it's not just small creators, home growers, home gardeners, or just people that they don't like. They also go after some of these political figures or figures that just have a massive following and a voice. RFK Jr. is just one example of that, but let's hear what he had to say about it all.
37 hours after he took the oath of office, President Biden's White House opened up a portal for the FBI to begin to have access to social media posts on all the different social media sites. And the FBI then invited in the CIA, DHS, the IRS, and CISA. CISA is this new agency that is the center of the censorship industrial complex that is in charge of making sure Americans don't hear things that their government doesn't want them to hear. And those agencies and other agencies, including the health agencies like CDC, were given access to go into the social media sites and change posts and slow walk things and shadow ban posts. That it was part of that effort. They removed my Instagram account. I had almost 1 million followers. They say it was for misinformation, but they could not point to a single post that I ever made That was factually erroneous. And they actually, Facebook pushed back in the email chain. You can see Facebook pushing back at the White House and saying, well, wait a minute, he's not, this isn't misinformation. This is not factually erroneous. What they're saying is actually true. And they had to invent a new word, which is called malinformation, which is information that is factually true, but nevertheless inconvenient for the government. And that became disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. That's what that is.
Now, guys, just let that sink in. Creating new words for information that you don't like. It's factually correct information, but information that you perceive as inconvenient
for
or
you,
uncomfortable to hear the truth of.
Let's pause right quick, okay? Now, let's take this on to a little bit of a different level right quick, all right? You guys, to the 5 peeps hanging out, what he's talking about right now, it happens in the Christian community. That same thing happens within the Christian community, all right? You have Christians who will take the Bible, okay? I call them fair weather Christians, sometimes Christians, okay? Here's what they do. They'll take pieces of the Bible that fits their life, but the other ones, they push it away. It's like, no. That doesn't no, I don't have to do that. But yeah, they'll go with these, but not these. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing, bro. All right, it's the same thing. And you got tons of them out here, bro. Tons of them, fam. Same thing, bro.
Malinformation. Now, I want to show you guys just how far and how deep this actually goes.
Them pick and
because
choose
it's not
Christians,
only individuals like RFK Jr., individuals with massive followings, but also entire news organizations that were facing censorship from some of these big tech companies. Here's a perfect example of the Hill. Check it out.
With this similar admission about the harms caused by the COVID policy, YouTube is now welcoming all creators terminated under the policies back to the platform. Come on in.
Imagine bringing your side project to life
channels back.
just by thinking about it. Meet Base 40.
The water's fine. Now, lest you think that means a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists, that's who's coming back, right? That's anybody who got kicked off. Well, consider this. Now, longtime viewers probably remember, but this channel, what you're watching right now, The Hill, was previously suspended for a week for allegedly breaking a rule that YouTube now admits was wrong. What am I talking about? Well, in March 2022, we were informed that we had violated an election integrity policy by posting allegedly false information about the 2020 election because we'd played video footage on the show, this show, of Trump saying that the election was stolen. We didn't say the election was stolen. We didn't endorse that view. We just reported the fact that Trump had said it. Think how crazy that is. Under YouTube's previous policy, they couldn't distinguish, or were unwilling to distinguish, between Trump saying something and a news channel reporting that he had said something.
So from that clip, you guys can see it's a massive problem. When a lot of these big tech platforms are actually censoring news channels and news outlets and calling the information that they're reporting on misinformation and harmful, then we have a problem, guys.
Big problem.
Now, I just want to draw a distinction real quick because this is definitely what I perceive to be an attack on free speech. Censoring Americans who post on Facebook, individual opinions expressed on platforms. I get it that some of these opinions definitely need to accord with your guidelines. But if your guidelines are so strict or just being warped to the point where anything can be deemed as a violation of those community guidelines, then what's the point of free speech?
For real.
This video is brought to you by Vivo.
Let's pause that right quick, all right? Because I want to say something about what he just said, all right? So here in the United States, if we have our rights, right? As citizens, we have our rights, okay? When you go to work for a company, you have your rights. Okay, you have employer rights. Now, us being content creators on YouTube or any of these social media platforms that are here in the United States, I'm not talking about TikTok or any of those because they're not based here in the United States, all right? Even though we just got like this deal with TikTok or some shit, YouTube is here in the United States. It's in California, okay? If you're here in the United States and your company's headquarters is here in the United States, bro, you should obey and abide by the laws, the rights, the amendments here of the United States, thereby allowing people who want to say things on your platform, regardless of if they might be a little unappeasable to you and you might not like them, that's still covered under free speech on your platform. So how can you censor people for what they say and shut down their channel when, number one, your company is inside of the United States of America, and we have the freaking basic right of being able to do what we want with this, bro. We've been able to say what we want as long as we're not harming anybody. As long as we're not bringing anybody up on our YouTube channel and harming them, we should be able to talk about weed. We should be able to smoke weed. We should be able to talk about the government. We should be able to talk about whatever conspiracy theory we want to, bro, because that's our freedom of speech to be able to say that shit. You know what I mean? Just like if we were just sitting with our homies around the table, we'd be talking about conspiracies. We'd be talking about all kinds of shit. If I'm allowed to sit down and sit with my homies and homiettes and fucking talk about shit, then why can't I motherfucking come on the platform that's here in the United States, YouTube, and talk about these same things? That's my freedom of speech, right? But no, you censor me. You take down our channels. You demonetize people. It's not right, bro. And I think if you are a social media company and you're based here in the United States, you have to adhere to our rights, bro. And you can't censor us because you're censoring our speech, bro. You're censoring our voice. Okay. And I think you should be charged for that. I think lawsuits should come from that because it is a stamping out of your fucking voice when they do that shit, bro. Like it really is. All right. I can't help it. It ain't our fault you created a motherfucking social media platform, bro. Nobody asked you to go out here and create YouTube. No one asked you to go out here and create TikTok. No one asked you to go out here and create any of these motherfucking apps. You did it on your own accord, motherfucker. Too goddamn bad. Maybe if you didn't want to hold to the rights of freedom of speech, you should have done it in fucking China. But you did it here in the goddamn United States of America, bitch. So you got to hold to our fucking rights, nigga. Fuck you mean? Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm sorry, bitch. Too fucking bad, yo. Like for real, for real. Y'all understand? Am I making sense, bro? Because it's like it's crazy, dude. Like YouTube's gonna eventually like piss somebody off enough. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. YouTube's gonna cut somebody's channel and they're gonna piss somebody off enough, or somebody's gonna go up into their facility and fuck some shit up. Because you know what? When you mess with people's channel, when you do that to people, bro, you're fucking with people's emotions. You're fucking with people's psyche, bro. You're fucking with people's life. You're fucking with people's voice and their feelings, bro. And some motherfucking one day is just gonna go right up in the motherfucking YouTube and motherfucking set it off. And motherfucking be like, I told you so. You brought that shit on y'all's motherfucking self, bro. Like for real. You brought it on your own damn self, man. Censoring motherfuckers.
Because if you got a job and you're working for an employer as an employee, in those situations, your contract of employment would often have terms and conditions. And if one of those terms and conditions is that you don't say anything that can bring the reputation of the employer into disrepute, then that may be a ground for dismissal. And in the situation where Jimmy Kimmel was clearly trying to take a rip at half of America, that is definitely a ground for suspension. And that's exactly what happened when he got suspended. Now, there was tons of backlash from that. But what I found is pretty interesting is that there was not tons of backlash when the news broke that Google was censoring Americans' free speech under the Biden administration. And that's exactly the point which is raised in this next clip.
That's definitely a trip to the Human Resources Office.
He addressed the comments responsible for getting him yanked off the air.
For real. That's definitely a trip to the Human Resources Office,
to make
guys.
light of the murder of a young man.
This fake ass cry, bro.
Work confidently while on SSDI with all
fake ass cry, bro. Get out of here, Jimmy.
We can help you participate.
I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
And even if he has their authentic emotion, doesn't protect him from his lies. It was his intention to suggest the killer came from half of America. And those lies continued last night. This was never about a joke,
hold up.
Jimmy.
Let's pause this right
lie.
quick. Technically, he didn't lie. I mean, because the shooter, but just like Grandma said, his family had been Republicans their whole life. They didn't know any Democrats in their family, and they were Mormons, okay, in Utah. All right. So technically, his family's MAGA. I mean, Trump's thing is make America great again. You are Republican. You voted for Trump. Therefore, you are make America great again. So technically, he's the spawn of MAGA. Like that kid, the shooter is the spawn of MAGA. If the mama's MAGA, daddy's MAGA, everybody in the family is Republican and have been Republican, then what does that mean, guys? You're the spawn of what? Republicans. Even though his views may not have been that, he still was the spawn of what? Republicans. Diehard Republicans. Mormons. Like, bro, Mormons, bro. So I wanted to say that on this point right here. Y'all remember the shooting that just happened in Michigan, okay? At the church on Sunday, where the veteran, the Marine vet who fought in the Gulf War, drove his truck with flags on it straight into the LDS church, shot it up, and burned that bitch up. I feel that was in direct retaliation to the Mormons because that kid came from a Mormon family. That's just my opinion on that. People are out here right now in the news trying to figure out what his motive is. That's what I'm saying his motive is right there. He hit that Mormon church because the shooter of Kirk came from a Mormon family. And that was in direct retaliation. Tit for fucking tat. Just like I told y'all when that Charlie Kirk shooting happened. Tit for tat. All these things are going to keep happening. Y'all know what's going to be happening pretty soon in the future? Grabbing our rights. They're going to bring in a plan, y'all, to control us, homie. I'm telling you, all of this shit, future is going to be wild, bro. Oh my God. We're heading straight into Civil War, and they're going to bring in a way to control everything after that, bro. And I'm telling y'all, this new society, oh my God, bro. Like, we've been oh, bro, y'all better wake up.
You used to set up the joke, suggesting that Charlie Kirk's assassin came from within MAGA. CNN's Jake Tapper looked at this entire affair involving Jimmy Kimmel and called it the worst violation of free speech in his lifetime.
Technically, he did come from MAGA. The most direct, I mean, if you want to be real about it, technically, he did come from MAGA. I don't understand why people are saying that shit. Why are they saying he's lying? Because technically, he did come from MAGA, right, guys? Brittany, GoldenEye, am I stupid for what I'm saying? Hear me. Am I stupid for what I'm saying? I mean, it's not a lie. Both his parents and everybody in his family, far back as they can remember, just like his grandma said, has been Republicans, okay? Okay, so if you were a Republican in the last few motherfucking elections, then you were what? You were Make America Great Again, because that's who was running for the Republicans, right? And if you're a diehard Republican, like grandma said they were, then you would have been with that, correct? So therefore, even if he didn't adhere to the beliefs of his parents, he's still a spawn of MAGA. He's still a spawn of Republicans. So technically, Jimmy Kimmel did not fucking lie. They just did not like what he fucking said because it's the fucking truth. What the fuck, dude? Get the fuck out of here, man.
Well, I don't know what Tapper might have seen over the course of his some 60-odd years, but I could really survey this landscape over the course of, say, 24 hours. Because he liked the day that he there was on.
They were able to twist it all because he liked trans girls. But you got motherfucking transgenders that are motherfucking Republicans. You got gays that are Republicans. You got blacks that are Republicans. You got whites that are Republicans. You got Mexicans that are Republicans. You got Asians that are Republicans. Okay? Like, for real, you got lesbians that are Republicans, right? Here's the thing. You got them on both sides, man. You got, listen, on both sides. I love how motherfucking both sides like to point fingers left and right, but you have them both on both sides. You have trans on left and right. You have gays on the left and the right. Okay? You have blacks on the left and the right. You have whites on the, you have every race on the left and the right. Okay? Like, for real, for real. You have child molesters on both the left and the right. You have motherfuckers in the sex trafficking industry on the left and the right. You got motherfuckers on the left and the right on Epstein's list. It's not just the right. It's not just the left who is on Epstein's list, bro. You got the left and the right, Republicans and Democrats. Okay, both are fucking guilty, dude.
Night program, because it was the very same day that Google admitted that they were censoring content at the behest of the Biden administration. Here's what Google had to say. The tech giant revealed the Biden administration pressured them to censor everyday Americans and remove content that did not, I highlight, did not violate YouTube's policies. The company also telling lawmakers public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities and pledging to never use third-party fact checkers as well to reinstate impacted accounts.
Now that right there is a massive distinction, guys. There's a clear difference between someone who expresses their opinion on a platform and is censored by that platform simply because they did not agree with that perspective versus someone who says something to bring their reputation of their employer into disrepute. Let me break this down in a way that you guys can understand. If I'm just sitting down at home and I post something on Instagram, this is my opinion based on what I've seen back in the COVID era. And for that, I am censored. My account is deleted and all that stuff. Right. Or if I just happen to post a picture of a plant and then my account's gone. Right. That's censorship. That's stuffing the free speech down the drain. Yeah. And that's completely different from someone losing their job because they violated their terms of employment.
We still have to view this in its totality. There was an unprecedented level of continuous engagement between the administration and social media companies.
But even here's the thing, though, with terms of employment. Some they shouldn't be able to stamp out your free speech anyway with terms of employment. Like for real. Like that's not my fault you didn't vet right when you was hiring motherfuckers. That's not my fault that, you know, you didn't really vet somebody good enough to see who they were and all of this shit. Maybe your interview should have went into a deeper process then if you don't want motherfuckers making your company look bad. If you don't want your employers making your company look bad, maybe your hiring process should be a little bit different than the weed type of motherfuckers out. Because you as a company should not be able to dictate what I can motherfucking say when I'm off work, bitch. You shouldn't be able to dictate what the fuck I do off work. Who are you to be able to reach into my personal life, you dick sucking, cock sucking motherfuckers? Who are you to goddamn tell me I can't smoke weed when I'm not at work? How are you to goddamn tell me and drug test me for smoking weed, bitch, when I'm smoking weed at home? How can you tell me I can't drink at home? I'm not at work, nigga. I come to your job for 8 hours and that's fucking it. You got that? And if you're worried about somebody motherfucking looking bad for your company, then bitch ass nigga, maybe your hiring practices should be different then, motherfucker. How about that? But no. There should be something against goddamn companies who have these motherfucking rules and shit in their motherfucking bullshit saying you can't say shit because you might hurt the company. Nah, nigga, fuck that. You understand what I'm saying? It's bullshit, bro. No company, no employer should goddamn be able to reach into your personal life on what you say, feel, do, eat, drink, smoke, or whatever, bro. You go there for your motherfucking 8 hours, your 12 hours, and then you're gone. That's it. I'm done with you, dude. I'll see you in the next motherfucking day to do my motherfucking 8 to 12, and that's it. All right? If I say something when I'm at work on the job, then that's different. Okay, yes. Maybe I can't be goddamn saying shit on the job, okay? All right? But if it's a comedian job or something like that on TV where you're allowed to say anything you want to, like Jimmy Kimmel was allowed to, okay, because he's a comedian, he's a late night talk show host. He talks about that stuff. The only thing he's not allowed to say is the 7 deadly words that you can't say on TV. That was the only thing that was in Jimmy Kimmel's contract, was he couldn't say the 7 deadly words. Anything else, Jimmy Kimmel was open game to. That was in his contract. So this wasn't because the motherfucking company felt this way. This because the company was goddamn pressured by Trump to do that because Trump didn't like what the fuck Kimmel said. Facts. That's all that motherfucking was. Our government pressuring companies, once again, like Biden did, to censor motherfuckers. Okay? That's all it is. Censorship. Control. Okay? That's what it boils down to, bro. For real. It's
not only categories of speech, but specific individuals, specific content, and specific viewpoints. The sheer quantity has a quality all of its own. The administration performed this unprecedented level of continuous engagement at several levels: the FBI, the CDC, Department of Homeland Security, essentially every single alphabet soup agency, the White House. And that's not
Yeah,
even
of course
taking
I
into
shouldn't
account
like
the
say
state.
certain shit on the job. Let's say I'm in the factory, man. Of course you shouldn't say certain things when you're on the job, bro. You're there to work. That's it. Sometimes you might make friends, but essentially, man, you're there just to go to work and go home, make that money. So, yes, you shouldn't be talking about political shit at work or getting in any of that type of social shit, bro. You're just going there to work and that's it, and go home when you're out here in the real world. I ain't talking about media and shit like that or movies, all right, like Kimmel. I'm talking about us, normal people, okay? So at the end of the day, when I leave that job site, dude, whatever I say on social media, whatever I say in my personal life, even if I'm talking shit about my company, dude, you can't. It's like I'm saying, yeah, like I go to work and then I like have a bad incident at work or something that I don't like with the company, and I get online and I talk about it on my social media shit. Uh, the things that I have at work that are bothering me with the company. Okay, my personal shit that I want to talk about, and then you find out and you fire me. Like, what the fuck? No, you can't do that, bro. You just that's no, because that's my freedom of speech. I can say what the fuck I want to, bro. I can say what I want to. Like, for real, for real. Too bad you motherfucking hired me, bro. That's your fault. Oh well. Like, you're stuck. You can't fire me. I'm gonna sue your motherfucking ass. For real. Like, too bad, bro. You hired me. Maybe you should have done a better background check and you know, done a lengthier motherfucking interview on my ass. Got into some deeper stuff. Check me out on my political and how I feel about certain things. You know what I mean? Before you hired my ass. If you ain't want certain motherfuckers who have a certain motherfucking perspective on things, okay, and have, different opinions working in your company. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. I don't get that shit.
The State Department funding a
Y'all understand what I'm
nonprofit
saying?
whose goal was to censor such radical media as the Federalist, Reason, and the New York Post. In one instance, the White House staffer Rob Flaherty sent this exact message to Google. This is a concern that is shared at the highest level, and I mean the highest levels of the White House. He's talking about the President of the United States. And this is coming from an administration that has supported and advanced several policies directly targeting the business models of social media companies. Antitrust enforcement, Section 230, encryption, and the list goes on and on.
So in a situation where free speech is being stifled, accounts are being deleted, what are you supposed to do? You gotta play by their rules. Now, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg actually spoke about this, so let's hear exactly what he had to say.
Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he...
Which is crazy what he just said, because he's right. That's the way they feel. We got to play by their rules. You just got to. And how many times have I said that on my channel, guys? That if you can't beat them, join them. So I was going to stop smoking weed and showing it on my channel and talking about certain stuff because it gets my channel hit and all that. Okay. But it shouldn't be like that, bro. It's, hold up. Let's go back for a second. Let's just go back. I want to hear that one more time, what he just said. I want to hear that one more time.
Section 230, encryption, and the list goes on and on.
So in a situation where free speech is being stifled, accounts are being deleted, what are you supposed to do? You got to play by their rules. Now, Facebook CEO Mark...
So what do you got to play by their rules? And here's the thing. It's we the people, bro. Y'all know what I mean? Here in the United States, it's we the people, not we the government. Not we the corporations. Okay? Not we the social media platforms. It's we the fucking people. We have our rights as individuals. So when they stifle out our speech, that's unconstitutional, bro. I don't give a fuck what no one says. It's unconstitutional, fam. Especially when you allow other shit on there that is questionable, but you want to allow, like, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander, fam. You know what I mean? Like, for real, for real.
Zuckerberg actually spoke about this, so let's hear exactly what he had to say.
Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. Zuckerberg saying, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it." Adding, "I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again." President Biden was asked about misinformation online in the summer of 2021.
On COVID misinformation, what's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people.
I mean, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. And they're killing people.
And now they're bringing back some of these accounts that were actually deleted for quite some time. Check it out.
Google announcing it will reinstate YouTube channels that were permanently banned for political speech, saying it was pressured by the Biden administration to remove content that did not even violate YouTube's policies. In a letter to the House Judiciary Committee, a lawyer for Google said, quote, "It is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds." Journalist and author Alex Berenson is suing the Biden administration now after he was banned from Twitter in 2021 for violating the platform's COVID-19 misinformation guidelines, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Alex.
Ainsley, good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on to talk about this. It's remarkable. Big tech, social media companies censoring people because of pressure from the Biden administration. Do you feel vindicated now that they're admitting this?
Well, I do feel vindicated. Jim Jordan has been doing a lot of work on this for a long time, and he's gotten documents out, but it's really nice to see Google come out and admit this. As you know, some of your viewers may know, in 2021, I sued Twitter and forced them to let me back on the platform before Elon Musk bought it. So that was a small win for free speech. But right now, yes, I'm in the middle of suing the Biden administration, which obviously is not in power anymore, over what they did to force Twitter to lock me out, to suspend my account in 2021. And I'm glad to see this admission. My case is sort of in an interesting moment because the Trump administration really has to decide if they want to defend the Biden administration's censorship going forward. Obviously, I'm hoping they're not going to do that.
Now, that guy may have enough money to be able to sue the Biden administration, but a lot of people don't, and they simply don't have the resources to go against big tech and try to get their accounts back. Even if they send emails, reach out to chat support, hit them up on Twitter, they're probably not going to get that account back. And even amid promises by Google to bring back some of these creators' YouTube accounts, it turns out that some of them were brought back, but then they were swiftly removed right after that. And that actually led Vivek Ramaswamy to send a public message to YouTube calling for them to return, but also calling for him to stop the censorship.
This is a message for the leadership of YouTube. Frankly, I probably could have called you privately, but I think it's better to just talk about this in the open on this particular issue. My understanding is in the last 24 hours, you locked the accounts and shut down the accounts of two guys, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. They have big followings on the American right. I think it's better if you just unlock those accounts and let the guys be heard. And I say this not because I'm some particular fan or vice versa. At least one of them, Nick, is probably not a particularly big fan of mine. No more than Jimmy Kimmel is, by the way, for very different reasons. That's beside the point. It doesn't matter.
These creators were deleted by YouTube some time back, but upon the admission by Google, their accounts were reinstated, but only for a short while because they were quickly deleted again. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy goes on to explain a few different distinctions, and I think this is key. So have a look at this, guys.
About whether somebody says a particular thing that you think doesn't belong on your platform. That's one category of speech moderation. There's a different category of saying that you may demonetize certain people. You're not going to pay them. That even if they're able to speak on your platform, it's not necessarily their right to be paid for doing so or putting advertisers next to their name. That's a separate discussion. Personally, I don't like any of those forms of speech suppression as a general matter, but at least those are discussions that reasonable minds can have. There's a whole separate third category of censorship, though, that I think is particularly harmful, which is the idea that just because of who you are, your name and who you are, you don't get to express any idea, whether it's misinformation, hateful speech, whether it's dangerous or whatever you deem it to be. Irrespective of that, you're not making that judgment. Just based on who you are, you don't get to speak. I think that breeds mistrust. I don't think that's good for our country.
And I would have to agree with that, guys. A lot of folks have a lot of mistrust when it comes to these big platforms. A lot of folks in the Canada community are not happy because they're always at risk of being taken down. And that's something that we've even seen on YouTube, where in certain countries they'll actually block any Canada-related content. And that's something that a creator actually made a video about recently, so let's show you guys a quick clip.
Why is the most popular video on cannabis on YouTube for the month of October no longer available to large parts of the global population? Well, we're referring to the cannabis question that featured by PBS Nova specifically at the end of September and garnered over 1 million views in a very short period of time. This was a great documentary. I enjoyed sharing it. However, we can see in the timeline that it's no longer available. Essentially, we're stuck with mosquitoes and hurricanes, and even reference is made to the cannabis question in newer clips on the channel. Now, the question is, was this done by PBS intentionally or by YouTube, where it was restricted in certain areas? We do know that we can access the video. We have included the link in the description via a VPN in the United States still. However, this does raise a concern for me, which is, why is it that such a good documentary, such a high quality documentary, is no longer available in certain parts of the world? Now, if you've noticed or watched this documentary and it's no longer available in your region, can I please ask that you add that to the comments so we can see how extensive the censorship of this documentary has been.
And that's a documentary put out by PBS, a literal documentary, guys, and YouTube is blocking it in certain countries. If you're in the US, you may be able to see it, but if you're outside of the US, in a lot of countries, it's actually blocked. Now, just to show you guys how crazy it is when it comes to censorship and the good herb, I'm going to show you guys a few clips which scream reefer madness, and also where a medical herb ad was banned from the Super Bowl. Let's check it out.
Stay off the weed.
Marijuana is only safer because potheads still live with their overprotective mother.
Well, pot is inert, but we've used it to enable our sloth.
Drunks have roommates and cokeheads have their own place. That's basically how you break it down.
There's tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is.
Tobacco and weed. He serves tobacco and marijuana. I remember that when motherfucking Elon Musk smoked on.
So is it time to admit that legalized pot and the whole experiment has failed?
For some, the commercials are the best part of Super Bowl Sunday, but one controversial ad will not be seen this year.
This ad, released by Acreage Holdings, a cannabis company in the U.S., displays a son's constant seizures, a man's complications from prescribed opioids, post-triple back surgery, and an amputee military veteran.
Medical cannabis saved Austin's life.
Cannabis has given me my life back.
Sacrificed so much for this country, have access to the safest treatment possible. This really is an injustice.
Legalization is prevalent in 33 states, including the District of Columbia. The NFL rejected the ad, stating CBS will not be accepting any ads for medical marijuana at this time.
So even an ad for medical herbs showing the benefits when it comes to some of these products, they were like, no, we don't want that at all. Let's get that off of this platform. And the double standards and hypocrisy is crazy, because if there was an ad from Big Pharma, they would 100% run that and run the money into their pockets as well. Now, a lot of businesses also face issues when it comes to advertising, especially relating to the good herb. And that's something we're seeing down in Indiana, where they passed a law to ban any advertising for herb.
Some new legislation. Indiana lawmakers are officially banning any advertising for marijuana in the state of Indiana. The private use of marijuana is legal in Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois, so often pot businesses advertise in Indiana to draw customers over the border. The ban applies to billboards and other signs posted along highways and other forms of advertising, including flyers many people receive in their mailboxes.
Now, let me know what you guys think about all this. Drop it in the comments down below. I'm really interested to find out what you guys think about this censorship issue, especially when it comes to the good herb. Drop it down there. I'm really interested to find out what you guys got to say. And if you ever had an Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube page deleted, drop it down there as well and let me know. Now, I know a lot of you guys that tune into this channel are home gardeners, and there's one state that's actually tracking home gardeners and putting all of their information on a registry. So if you haven't seen it, check that video because it's coming up right now.
Ooh-wee. All right. Boom, 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 boom.
Hey, I'm Adam Sandoval. I've done a lot of riding around the country. Right
Adam Sandoval. What's up, Adam Sandoval? What are you doing, Adam Sandoval? All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be back, y'all. What, cornbread?
Should you ever end up in a motorcycle accident?
In a motorcycle accident.